All right, so now that we're familiar with integers and whole numbers, we learned all about how integers are whole numbers and their opposites on the other side of zero, which basically just includes any negative number. So when we're talking about integers, we're talking about positive numbers and negative numbers. Could be a fraction, could be a decimal, could be a whole number, but it's including all positive and negative numbers. Well, today we're going to learn about absolute value, what absolute value means. So our objective for today is I can determine the absolute value of any rational number. So first, a rational number. Let's talk about what a rational number is. A rational number is a number that can be made by dividing two integers. For example, 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So 3 is a rational number. So any number that can be made by dividing two integers. We could also have a rational number would be 3 divided by 4. That is a rational number. A rational number. Good. So absolute value. What do we mean when we're talking about absolute value? Well, absolute value is the distance between a rational number and 0 on a number line. The absolute value of a number is number x, so x being just an unknown number, is written as the absolute value of x. So these two bars on the outside, that's what absolute value looks like, is these two bars right here. Two bars on the outside of a number. For example, you might see the absolute value, these two bars, absolute value of -2 equals 2. Why? Because the distance, the absolute value means the distance that number is from 0 on a number line. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, it's just how far away is -2 from 0, and it is 2 away from 0. So easily put, absolute value bars like this, just take off any negative sign that's inside of the absolute value bars. Your answer is always that number but positive, because all it is the distance from 0 on a number line. If we had a number 1 and -1, those are both one space away from 0. So the absolute value of -1 equals 1, and the absolute value of 1 equals 1, because they are both one space away from 0. So procedures to determine absolute value: graph any number on a number line, then determine the distance the given number is from 0. So let's do a couple together. Find the absolute value of 3. Remember to first locate 0 on the number line. So we need to just identify where we want 0 to be. So I'll just put 0 right here. So if that's 0, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. All right, so find the absolute value of 3. Well, where is 3? I'm going to locate that and put a dot on 3. So the distance 3 is from 0 is, let's count, 1, 2, 3. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. The absolute value just means how far away is it from 0. Good. So let's do another one together. Find the absolute value of -4. Remember to first locate 0 on the number line. So this might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So I need to find -4 on my number line, plot a point. Now, how far away is negative 4 from 0? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the distance negative 4 is from 0 is 4. So the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. All right, on the back, you're going to do a few pause and tries. These pause and tries have rational numbers, or in other words, fractions or decimals. They're not all whole numbers. So your job will to be first locate 0. I know that each of you already understands how to graph a rational number. So you might decide, if we have a half here, you might make each tick mark might represent 1/2. So instead of being 1 right here, this might be 1/2, and then 1, and then 1 and 1/2, and then 2, and then 2 and 1/2, and then 3, and then 3 and 1/2. And then going backwards, you have to do the same thing for negative numbers. Negative 1/2, negative 1, negative 1 and 1/2, negative 2, negative 2 and 1/2, negative 3, negative 3 and 1/2. So you're going to find the absolute value of negative 3 and then determine what is the distance negative 3 is from 0, and then what is the absolute value of negative 3 and 1/2. So you're going to do this with a fraction, you're going to do it with a decimal, and then you're also going to do it with another fraction on the bottom. So there's 3 pause and tries. I would like you to do all 3. When you're finished, come and check with me or with someone from your table that has already finished, and make sure you get your stamp in order to pass off this section.